Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm Marshall Green. In today's show, we got an NBA mock draft on tap for all of the real ones. We're talking about first-round draft prospects in today's show. If you want more NBA draft coverage, help me out. Hit that thumbs up icon. If we get to 1,000 likes, maybe we'll do another mock draft next week. No groundbreaking news or a shocker with the first pick of this draft. The San Antonio Spurs, we had them selecting Victor Wembanyama, maybe the best NBA draft prospect of all time. If not him, it's LeBron James, and they are neck and neck. What can't this guy do, I think, is the better question to ask yourself. What is he, 7'4", 7'5"? Saw him stand next to Rudy Gobert, and he was a clear 3 inches taller than him. Struggled, I guess, to say shoot efficiently from downtown. I'm going to chalk that up to the volume and sheer shot difficulty. The guy's got one of the best shooting strokes, that we've seen from a big man of his size. Imagine if Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert kind of had a little offspring. That's what Victor Wembanyama is, if you didn't know already. We'll get to the rest of this mock draft in a second. But if you want more draft content, I should have liked the video. Now subscribe. Hit that sub button. We're pushing for 350,000 subs on the channel. Sub if you want more NBA draft coverage. With the number 2 pick, we had Brandon Miller going to the Charlotte Hornets. Could have went with Scoot Henderson here, but I think with LaMelo Ball, they could be looking for a versatile scoring wing, and that's what Brandon Miller provides. He's got a ceiling potentially of a Paul George, Tracy McGrady type build. He is going to be special in the NBA in Charlotte. They got themselves a true bucket getter. We had good old Scoot Henderson out of the G League Ignite going to Portland, potentially a Damian Lillard replacement with this one. I'm a big fan of Scoot Henderson's game. Has to become a better shooter, no doubt about it. Needs to become more efficient overall as a player. But he kind of has that Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook type of burst ability, I guess if you want to call it that, to his game. And when you compare Brandon Miller to Scoot Henderson, you just got to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want a 3-level scorer, 6'8", 6'9" wing in Brandon Miller? That's who you go with. If you want a point guard that gets downhill, puts pressure on the rim, and could be a floor general and a guy that takes control of the game with the rock in his hands, that's Scoot Henderson. I think Portland and Charlotte, they're going to be both happy with these 2 picks. Then the Houston Rockets were on the board. What stinks for them is I see this as a 3-player draft, and they're at pick number 4. So we're going to give them Amin Thomas out of Overtime Elite. He is definitely an athletic player. He can attack the rim. Some people say he has shades of Ja Morant and a beanpole, Zion Williamson. He's an electric shot creator with a distinguished combination of passing vision and zippy athleticism. I'm interested to see how him and his brother, who we'll talk about in a little bit, are going to be in the NBA. We haven't really seen any of these players from the Overtime Elite League really blossom in the NBA just yet. What about a Nova boy going to Detroit and getting to pair up with all the young cats they got over there? Cam Whitmore going number 5 to the Detroit Pistons. Not your prototypical Villanova player that got it out the mud. This guy just got way more raw talent and raw athletic ability than a lot of those other Villanova Wildcats that we've seen in the past. But I do think Whitmore is going to have a long, successful career in the NBA, and they just continue to add into the young athletic talent that they have over there in the Motor City. I do want to ask this question, and don't say Victor Wembanyama, because that's lame. Be creative and go in depth. Who is your favorite draft prospect this year? Give me their name down below. We had one of the Thompson twins going inside the top 5. Now we got the other one going to the Orlando Magic with pick number 6. They are similar players, that being Amin Thompson and Sir Thompson, but different as well. Amin likes to get downhill and attack the rim a little bit more. Well, I think Sir Thompson is more of the playmaker type of guy. Some people compare him to Sean Livingston. I think he's more of your prototypical playmaker, while Thompson is more of your rim attacker and just athletic freak. I am interested to see how these 2 guys are going to pan out in the NBA. No doubt about it. With pick number 7, Jarace Walker going to the Indiana Pacers. The Houston Cougar freshman, 6'7", 250 pounds, 19 years old, a versatile wrecking ball on defense and a skilled playmaker on offense. I call him a havoc creator. That's what he reminds me of. Some people think he could be the next Larry Johnson. Shout out to the 4-point play. If you know, you know. One of the more intriguing prospects, in my opinion, is Anthony Black, the creator, the combo guard, big guard, forward, whatever you want to call him, out of Arkansas. Some people think he could be another Alonzo Ball. I don't know if he's that good of a shooter like Lonzo is, but he's definitely someone that has those playmaking abilities and defensive versatility like he does. Anthony Black, I think, would be a good fit in Washington. Gradey Dick going to the Utah Jazz. You get a shooter, a shot creator, and a big-time shot maker. The kid averaged 14 points per game for the Kansas Jayhawks this past year, 44% from the field. But what's probably impressing a lot of scouts is 40% from downtown. The dude has a strap, and he can light it up from beyond the arc. Taylor Hendricks is who we have the Dallas Mavericks selecting with pick number 10. The Mavericks barely got that pick after they found a way to tank the season and get into that top spot. He was a freshman, springy athlete, kind of a hybrid between a small forward and a power forward, likes to attack the rim. Got to work on that outside shot, as a lot of these guys do. Has a little pull-up ability in his game, good on-ball defender, positional versatility, and I like the hustle that he plays with as well. Another really intriguing draft prospect is Keyonte George out of Baylor. Some people compare him to a Donovan Mitchell type of player, that combo scoring guard that likes to take some tough shots and make tough shots. And he did that at Baylor this year. He's got to be more efficient, though. Just 33% from downtown. But, man, if Keyonte George pops, he's going to be a fun player. And you might look back maybe 3 years from now and be like, how did he last all the way to number 11? I like that pick, though, for Orlando. They continue just to collect young talent over there. Nick Smith Jr. going to the Oklahoma City Thunder with the 12th pick in this draft. He was a freshman this past year at Arkansas. Two-way guard, 6'5", 185 pounds. He's a slippery scorer who can get into any shot he wants to, but needs to improve his consistency. But just the ability to get to a spot and get shots up. He's got that floater. He can score around the paint. He's got a nice pull-up game he can handle. Efficiency. We're going to continue to say that because that's why some of these guys just continue to, or falling out of the top 10, I guess is the way I want to put it. Wallace, Cason Wallace out of Kentucky, going number 13 to the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are kind of in a weird spot right now, and that's why they're picking in the lottery. Wallace was a freshman at Kentucky. He's a combo guard, 6'2", game-changing point of attack defender who also fills the gap on offense as a playmaker and a shooter. I like that he has the catch-and-shoot ability. That's always something you're looking for in the NBA. He's got a good feel for the game as well, and he's a pretty good off-ball defender. And he could be the Fred VanVleet replacement for the Toronto Raptors. Sounds like he is all but gone from Toronto. Hearing some rumors that the Philadelphia 76ers might be interested in him, with Nick Nurse now becoming that coach. So they're definitely going to be looking for another point guard to add to this roster. Kobe Bufkin out of Michigan. We have him being the last pick of the lottery, going to the New Orleans Pelicans out of Michigan. Look, if your name's Kobe and you play basketball, you got to be freaking good, and that's what Bufkin is. A little bit of an Emmanuel Quickly, Tyrese Maxey type of player. I like to say these guys have that microwave badge on Hall of Fame, and that's what Bufkin does. He can handle, he could score from all three levels. Just needs to become more of a complete player, in my opinion. But he definitely has a lot of upside, and that's why he's going in the NBA lottery. The Atlanta Hawks on the clock at pick number 15, and we have them selecting Leonard Miller from the G League, from Canada, a big body, 6'9" forward. Some people, Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer thinks he's a leaner and smaller Paul Millsap. He's a big man with guard skills, but he's still growing into his body, just 19 years old. He's got the ball handling down. He's an athletic freak. Just needs to tighten up around the rest of the game. I mean, 7'2" wingspan. That just doesn't happen very often for a guy at 6'9". He could be a threat on the perimeter, on the defensive side of the ball, and the switchability I think is definitely going to be key for him as well. We'll break down the back half of this mock draft coming up in a second. But if you want to win real money and maybe place a little bit of lettuce on the NBA Finals, do it with our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Just go right here, chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code CHAT125, and they're going to hook you guys up with a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 into your account and use the promo code chat125. You're going to have 225 big ones to use. Bet on the finals, bet on the MLB. You could do it all over at BetUS because we've got your game. Bryce Sensabaugh is the pick we had going to the Utah Jazz. Pick number 16, the forward out of Ohio State. Utah, they've got a whole bunch of picks over the next couple of years thanks to that Rudy Gobert trade, and they select Bryce Sensabaugh with this one. One of my favorite players in this draft is Jordan Hawkins going to the Los Angeles Lakers. If there's a guy like we talked about, Keyonte George, look back and maybe he went too late, Jordan Hawkins is one of those guys as well. I think he's got one of the best three-point shots in the draft this year. Just has a winning style about him. Can play defense. 16 points per game this past year. He was a key piece in the title run for UConn. He's going to be a knockdown shooter in the NBA for a really, really long time. Jalen Hood-Schifino. I know I'm probably saying that wrong, but I like the player a lot. He's going to the Miami Heat here. Miami, anytime you're potentially playing or winning an NBA Finals and you get to pick at pick number 18, that's a luxury, and they're getting a talented guard right here out of Indiana. He is someone that is going to just blossom in that culture. Look, the Heat, they don't really mess up picks, and he could be a good one for them. Chris Murray, the brother of Keegan Murray, going to the Golden State Warriors in this one. The Murray boys, they could shoot it, and they could fill it up, and definitely the Golden State Warriors, they could use another score. Murray, number 19 to the Golden State Warriors. Derek Whitehead going to Houston here with pick number 20, the guard out of Duke. Oh, play a little forward as well. Houston, one of those teams that's just trying to find themselves out of the way to get out of the bottom of the NBA. Unfortunately, even though they had one of the worst records in the league this past year, not getting inside that top three. Hopefully, Whitehead could be a guy that could be a guard. Maybe a Kevin Porter Jr. replacement, as I don't know how much longer he's going to be a Houston Rocket. We've gone through 20 players. Maybe you see a guy that you're just not all that high on. Maybe there's a bust that's already gone out. Who do you think it's going to be? Who will be the biggest draft bust this year? Give me a name down in the comment section. G.G. Jackson going number 21 to the Brooklyn Nets. This is a guy that a lot of people inside the Chat Sports studios are really big fans of, and if you've watched him play, you could just see why. The guy pops off the screen whenever you watch him play. This past year, averaging 15 points per game, 6 rebounds. Not efficient. 38%, 32% from deep. Tighten that up, and this could be a guy that could have a long, long NBA career. Jet Howard. Love the name, Jet. Jet Howard going number 22 as Brooklyn has back-to-back picks in the early 20s. This is someone that needs to tighten up pretty much every area of their game, but he definitely has potential. You can see what he can do. He'll be joining the Brooklyn Nets as they try and really just rebrand that franchise after the Kyrie and Kevin Durant debacle. Noah Clowney going number 23 to Portland. Portland kind of in that same boat as Brooklyn. Are they going to trade their picks for a superstar? Are they going to build around Dame? Are they going to restart it all? Noah Clowney would be a good piece as they try to get that franchise off the ground and go in a new direction. Derek Lively, the center out of Duke, going to the Sacramento Kings. I thought the Kings, watching them in the playoffs, could have used another big body for Sabonis to come off the bench, and that's exactly what Lively could be for them at pick number 24. Bilal Coulibaly. I'm butchering that. I know I am. We got number 25 going to the Memphis Grizzlies out of France. Look, he could be a good player in Memphis. They may have found a gem in this guy. Colby Jones going number 26 to the Indiana Pacers out of Xavier. Good player going to Indiana. Indiana, I think, could be on the rise here coming up this year. I love the pick of Mathurin last year. I think he's going to be a stud. Colby Jones, he's got some potential as well. Rupert going to the Charlotte Hornets with pick number 27. Rupert, some people think he could be a bust. Some people think he'd be a good player. Going to be interesting. Anytime you're picking in the late 20s and almost the 30s in the NBA draft, you're drafting off potential, and that's what Rupert has. And with the right development, could be a pretty good player in this draft. A guy that I'm also a fan of is Andre Jackson Jr., the do-it-all player for UConn. He's got some of the best bounce you'll see in college basketball. He could defend 1 through 5. Those Huskies, man, they just had a whole bunch of winning players, and that's what he does. He plays winning basketball, man, and that's what you're looking for. And in the later half of this first round, you're looking for someone that should come in and play that winning basketball or someone that has that untapped potential. And the thing is, Andre Jackson, he may have both of those things in his bag. Look, if he can become a 35, 36% three-point shooter, he's going to be a really good player in the NBA. Last two picks in the draft, we got Maxwell Lewis going to the Indiana Pacers, and we got Jalen Wilson out of Kansas going to the Los Angeles Clippers with pick number 30. So, I want you guys to grade our mock draft for us. Grade the mock draft down below because it's not a true mock draft until someone gives you an F grade. And I don't think this one's an F, but maybe you do. Grade the mock draft for us, A, B, C, D, or F.